The next Singapore budget will be strong and suitable for Singapore's economy needs, said Prime Minister Hsien Loong at the end of his 5-day visit to South Korea. With major economies like the United States, China and Japan slowing down, it is not surprising that the Singapore economy has been sluggish too. PM Lee said the solution to boost the economy is not to raise government spending or lowering taxes. Instead, the focus must be on improving productivity.
I think in this situation, the solution is not a pump priming stimulus, but to take advantage of the slowness of the economy to redouble our efforts at upgrading, at training, at productivity improvements, so that we make the most of what we are able to do given this environment.
Now we have News Editor Zakir Hussain in the studio to tell us more. Welcome, Zakir. Zak, if you could share with us first, right? Why did PM Lee choose, to talk about the Singapore budget at the wrap of the ASEAN-South Korean summit?
Well, I think PM was giving an interview to reporters at the end of his visit to Busan for the summit. And one of the questions that was asked was about, the economic outlook.
Yeah.
Growth this year is expected to come in at, a little above 0%.
Yeah.
And I think PM said it in the context that, look, budget's not too far away, and I think there'll be some measures in the government's response, and the agencies have been working on something. But I think PM's point also, I think it's something that the government's been trying to make for some time, that people shouldn't just look at the budgets for temporary relief or solve or handouts. It's really almost like the Singapore way, where they want to make sure that the investments or money is spent on building capabilities, right? So sort of helping workers skill up or pick up new skills, helping students even, make the right choices, in schools and so on, to look for careers. And I think it was timely that the question was asked at the ASEAN Korea Summit.
Yeah.
I think part of the problem, the global trade tensions and so on is really in a way, reiterate. I think it underlines the importance of countries actually remaining open, remaining connected, and I think that was what the ASEAN leaders and the Korean leaders, I think, sought to reiterate at the summit.
Right. And Zak, of course, there's been a lot of talk that the election is nearing. And you yourself, I think, in our earlier episodes as well, you said that it could be as early as next year, March, right after the budget. Do you think then, now that PM has made this announcement, do you think the next budget will be an election budget? If so, what can we expect?
Well, I think a few weeks back, I think DPM Heng said, don't look at this as an election budget. And I think there'll be two sides of it. I think it will be an election budget, but it also won't be an election budget. It's an election budget in the sense that, towards the end of the government's term, there'll be funds. And I think you can expect some investments and resources, maybe top-ups to Skills Future, top-ups to education funds and so on. As well as some direct cash handout, to help sort of maybe cope with living expenses. But at the same time, it's not quite an election budget because it's investments in longer-term things, right? So you're not going to see it right away, but you've got to take the action. So maybe you need to choose to retrain to tap on those funds, a bit like Skills Future credits, I'd say.
But whatever it is, I suppose time will tell whether it's going to be an election budget or not. But like you mentioned earlier on, of course, it could be as early as next year's March, right? Just right after budget.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Zakir, for coming on to the show to tell us more about this. Now, for more, you can visit our website, of course, at straitstimes.com.